Hi everybody, this is Brent Deischer, and today I want to talk about two permaculture principles. One, I want to talk about observe and interact, and the other one, I want to talk about the problem is the solution. So what we're doing right now is we are observing, and the next or even equally important part of this, that phrase, is interacting. So one way to interact with your local ecosystem is what we're doing today, is we're removing invasive species. So we are taking away all the privet, we are taking away Multiflora Rose and the burning bush and all different kinds of Japanese stilt grass. You see all of these different invasive species that have overtaken this property that we have just moved into less than 5 months ago. So it's suggested that you take up to a year to simply just observe and interact before you do anything. You want to see the changes that take place throughout the seasons on your property. For example, the sun is a lot lower in the sky now than it is in the summertime. So that's the first principle I want to talk about. And then the second principle I'd like to talk about today is the problem is the solution. So we're taking all of these invasive species out of the ground so we can plant in the spring. So what do we do with them? Well, we need to have some type of barrier to prevent the deer from eating our plants that we're going to plant, trees and plants that we're going to plant very soon, next year. So what we have created with the leftover, the branches and the roots from the privet and the Multiflora Rose, you can see right here, we've created a dead hedge. This is a dead hedge, and it's really a lot of branches that we took from the ground over there, and we're taking them and having a barrier, okay? So when you're thinking about the design of your system, your ecosystem, and creating elements, you want to think about them in terms of function, okay? So before you say right away, oh, a fence, I need a fence. So one of the things that you can do is you can, instead of saying fence, you can say, what's the function? Oh, so I need a barrier. So the barrier opens up the possibilities for so many more things, okay? So that's why we're using a dead hedge as a barrier. So we didn't know where we're going to put all this Multiflora Rose. We have a lot of invasive species. So we've been doing a lot of observe and interacting. Yes, the thought crossed my mind to get a goat, but they are tough to take care of. So we're not getting a goat, at least right now. We're going to do animals later on in our design that's coming up later on. But first, we're going to plant do some planting in the spring. We've already started planting, but we're going to do more intensive planting in the spring. So livestock will come later, because that they might eat the things that we plant right away. So we can't do livestock and planting at the same time. Chickens, maybe, that'll come. That's the first thing next year, okay? So always thinking about, the problem is the solution. All right, the problem is that two things. One, what do you do with all these branches? Okay, where do we put them? Okay, we're going to use them as a barrier. Okay, so that's the solution. The problem is the solution. In permaculture, that's the very, maybe perhaps often used phrase, but it's forcing you to think outside the box about solving problems. So this is our dead hedge, where birds like it. Okay, it gives them a little protection. There's a lot of small birds here. Gives them a little bit of protection and from the predators. There's also some predator birds here. There's a Cooper's hawk I saw yesterday, and they are a bird-eating predator, okay? So, but this gives them a little protection too. And it has multiple functions. It gives birds the protection that they need from predatory birds, like a Cooper's hawk or a sharp-shinned hawk. And it serves as a barrier to prevent the multiple deer coming to our property. As I can see, the buck rubs all around here. They've told us that they are coming. You can show you right here. This is a buck rub right there. That's from the male deer antlers, marking its territory, and also getting the velvet off. So they've told me that they're here, okay? So I have to design for that in mind. So I don't want them eating everything. So I have to be very cognizant of the bucks and the other deer that are on this property. As you can see over here, there's our zone 5, our forest, and that can be a home of a lot of things that will enter into our property. Not just deer, but also foxes, coyotes, things like that. Maybe even some bear once in a while. So we have to be cognizant of that when we're planning this out and designing our space. We have to be very careful with what we bring into our property in zone 5. Okay, from zone 5. All right, so again, just to wrap up, I want to tell you about the observing and interacting and pulling some invasive weeds. It's not bad. You know, it's just fun work. You know, it is work. Yeah, I'm not sitting on a desk and just, you know, looking at a computer all day. I'm outside. That's where I want to be. Where I want to be outside, and I want to be interacting with the ecosystem and feeling the cold air in December. I love it. So the problem is the solution. Again, looking at this dead hedge, you can see where we've been creating the dead hedge between these two trees, using the trees to prop up the dead hedge, providing habitat for small birds and protection, and creating a barrier. Again, thinking of function when you're doing your design and not just drawing to conclusion. I need a fence. Oh, I need a barrier. Okay, so that's my little spiel for today, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from my experience. I'm trying to document, you know, a little bit our experience with our homestead, you know, developing this homestead and telling the story of what we're doing a little more. Okay, all right, so thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and make a comment. How do you use the principles in your landscape, your daily life? How do you use the permaculture principles? All right, thank you very much for watching. Bye.